Bole Baba Ki Jai, Hare Akandeshwari Mat Ki Jai. If you remember in our last discourse from the Chandi by Swami Satyananda, Saraswati, which is you've given information on the channel about how to reach and procure this book or hear more about his wonderful translation of the Durga Sapsati. We talked about how thoughts, particularly the thought of self-conceit and self-deprecation, had taken over all of the worlds and removed all the divine thoughts from our mind. We were so overwhelmed. And in the great battle with the Divine Mother, who has come to help us, she destroyed some of his top commanders, sinful eyes, one who appears to be a friend, and then he also sent Chanda and Munda, passion and anger. And if we think about it, when we get passionate about an idea or a cause or something we really want and we don't get it, we get very angry, and that can certainly consume our mind, so we forget about the divinity that's around us and guiding us in our life. So that's where we ended up, and now the great thought, the king of the thoughts, self-conceit and self-deprecation have heard about this, and that's where we're going to begin with a meditation first. I meditate upon Bhavani, the embodiment of existence, the grantor of perfection, who is surrounded by rays of light and other subtle energies. Her body is of red hue. Her 3 eyes are exuberant with compassion. In her hands are the net, the curved sword, bow, and arrow. So when the Lord of Thoughts, Sumba, became aware of the death of passion and anger and many of their army, then excessive anger filled that mind of that infamous self-conceit, and he ordered all the armies of thoughts to march to war. Today let all thoughts of strength arise. Let the 86 plunderers of peace, holding weapons, and 84 without restraint thoughts assemble with all their forces. I order 500 million heroic warriors of the family of thoughts to assemble, and the assemblage of hundreds of families of vices. Let them march off to war to defeat the mother of the universe. And let the thoughts born of calamity and thoughts born of perplexed hearts and recurring thoughts and fears of the unknown be ready for war and immediately set forth at my command. After that command, the fearful king of thought, self-conceit, the terrible ruler, marched to battle surrounded by thousands of warriors of thoughts. When she saw that exceedingly terrible army approaching, she who tears apart thought, Chandika, made the twang of her bowstring hum from the earth to the sky. Then the lion of the goddess began to roar extremely loudly, and the mother of the universe increased the noise with the sound of her bell. With the twang of her bowstring, the roar of the lion, and the sound of the bell, the hum of the sound rose in all directions. From the tremendous mouth of the remover of darkness, Mother Kali, came a dreadful sound even greater than the others. Having heard that tumultuous sound in all 4 directions, the warriors in the army of thought angrily surrounded the goddess, the lion, and the remover of darkness, Mother Kali. in order to slay the thoughts and to raise the gods back to heavens from the bodies of the creative capacity, Lord Brahma, the consciousness of infinite goodness, Lord Vishnu, and the consciousness that pervades all, Lord Shiva, and also from the ruler of the pure, Lord Indra, and other gods as well, energies emerged in forms that possessed extreme valor and tremendous strength, and those forms, their Shaktis, joined in the battle with Chandika against all the warriors. In the same dress and ornaments and with the same carriers as the gods possess, in that same appearance, their energies came to fight in the war with the thoughts. After all the energies of the gods had collected, the great gods said to she who tears apart thought, I will be pleased if you will quickly slay all those thoughts that are keeping people from connecting with their divinity. Then from the body of the goddess manifested the excessively fearful and extremely terrific energy known as she who tears apart thought, who made noise at the manner of numerous jackals. That invincible goddess said to the one of dark matted hair, Lord Shiva, the great God, Supreme Lord, please go to self-conceit and self-deprecation as my ambassador. Tell those two extremely conceited ones, self-conceit and self-deprecation, Sumba and Nishumba, and any other thoughts that are ready to wage battle, this order. If you want to live, then return to the lower worlds. Let the rule of the pure be the king of the three worlds again, and let the gods enjoy their portion of the sacrifice. But in the strength of your collected pride, you still desire to fight, then come. My manifestations will be pleased to enjoy your flesh. And so, because the goddess sent consciousness himself, Lord Shiva, as his ambassador to the thoughts, she has become known in the world as she for whom consciousness is her emissary. And those great thoughts, hearing the words of the goddess from the mouth of Lord Shiva, in great anger went to where the ever pure one was brilliantly shining. Then from above, the wrath of the thoughts caused a rain of arrows, energies, spears, and other weapons upon the goddesses. She playfully cut to pieces the arrows, the pikes, the energies, the weapons, and the battle axes hurled at her by the enemy of thoughts, with the great arrows let loose from the twang of her bowstring. Then Mother Kali, the remover of darkness, went in front of those enemies and striking with her pike began to kill them. With the missiles of consciousness, she reduced them to powder on the battlefield, and all of the other energies also defeated the many warriors. Many of the thoughts fell to the ground from fear of the excessively furious laugh, for she whom consciousness is emissary, and she relished their taste in her mouth. Seeing the multitude of mothers slaying such great thoughts in various ways, the army of thoughts began to run away in fear. Seeing those oppressed thoughts fleeing from the forces of the mothers, Ratabija, another great warrior, who is actually described as the seed of desire, a great thought of bounteous strength, entered to fight in excessive rage. When a drop of blood from Ratabija's body touches the ground, he has a boon that another great thought from the same intensity is born in that very place. So the energy of the rule of the pure began to fight with this great thought, who held a club in his hand. Then she smote him with the seed of desire with her thunderbolt. Wounded by the thunderbolt, blood poured from his body, and her every drop of blood that touched the ground, there appeared the same form and equally fierce demon. For as many drops of blood that poured forth from the wounds of Ratabija, who is the seed of desire, just so many warriors manifested, all equally valiant, equally strong, and equally fierce. These warriors, born of the seed of desire, possessed extremely fearful weapons, and they began a violent battle with the multitude of divine mothers. When he was wounded on the head by the meritorious thunderbolt, and the blood began to flow, then from it 1,000 warriors were born. Wounded by the discus of the energy of consciousness that pervades all, profuse blood poured forth, manifesting in thousands of great thoughts of desires, so that soon the entire gross world was pervaded by the seeds of desire. Very strong teaching about when we annihilate one desire, we often have more and more and more, versus praying to the Mother to help us overcome these desires and be focused on the divine. The ever pure one struck that great thought, the seed of desire, with her energy, and the energy of the most excellent desire of union with her sword, and the great seer of all with her pike. In this way, the thoughts born of the seed of desire, Ratabija, pervaded the entire perceivable universe, and the gods became greatly frightened. Seeing the gods' dejection, she who tears apart thought, Chandika, promptly told the remover of darkness, Mother Kali, "Hey, slayer of passion and anger, expand your mouth. Quickly eat all those seeds of desire and all these great thoughts that come from the seed of desire when he is struck with the blows of our weapons. Stroll about the battlefield and eat all the great thoughts born of the blood, and as all the blood is wasted, he will soon destroy himself. When you will eat those fearful thoughts, then new thoughts will not be born." Thus saying, the goddess who tears apart thought, Chandika, struck the seed of desire with her pike. And as Kali took his blood in her mouth, then he struck she who tears apart thought with his club. But the goddess felt no pain from the blow of Ratabija's club. Still, the blood continued to flow from his wounds. But whatever blood fell, the slayer of passion and anger, Mother Kali, took it in her mouth. As many great thoughts as were born from that blood, she instantly took it into her mouth, and she also drank the blood. Then the goddess fought with the seed of desire with her pike, thunderbolt, bow, sword, and spear, while the slayer of passion and anger, Mother Kali, drank the blood. Oh, the seeds of desire was wounded by that great collection of weapons and deprived of blood. That great thought fell to the ground. The gods attained inconceivable bliss. The multitude of the mothers, delighted from the drink of the blood, danced vigorously with joy. When we give our desires to the Divine Mother, she is extremely happy, dances with joy, and we along with her in the bliss of communion. And I'll end with one more meditation. I take refuge in the Supreme Divided One, the Lord who is both male and female, continuously without end. Her color is like flowers, or excellent gold with a red and yellow mixture. In her beautiful hands she holds a rosary, a net, and curved sword, and shows the mudra giving blessings. The radiant half moon is her ornament, and she has 3 eyes. Mother Chamunda Mata Ki Jai, Mother Chandika Mata Ki Jai, Harakandashvari Mata Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai.